Hello, I'm the Anime Viewer 66, and today we're going to be taking a look at the heroic legends of Arslan. As you probably guessed from the title, our main character is Arslan, a young prince who is one day destined to take the throne. The only problem is his kingdom, or at least the capital of his kingdom, is taken over by a bunch of very evil people who try to spread their religious doctrine either through word of mouth or through a sword to the throat. Yeah, it's going to be one of those kind of stories. We'll get back to that point later, but let's just carry on, shall we? The main story point of all of this is Arslan has to go out and try to get reinforcements and try to get more allies over time to eventually take back his capital. That's sort of the end game, to eventually defeat the barbaric, evil, savage, religious mongering people. There's also this guy with a silver mask that may have a past with the whole royal family and stuff, and a whole bunch of other tribes and different sort of warring factions going on. It's basically the biggest, most epic sort of story you could possibly imagine, with old sort of sword and sorcery type stuff. More heavily on the sword than the sorcery in this, but it does have some sorcery in there. Arslan is kind of a goody goody two shoes, the ultimate Mary Sue type character, but there's a good reason for that. He is supposed to be a contrast to his quote unquote father, the king. His father would literally cut a guy down if he even so much as questioned his orders. And like he is given sound military advice, and he just points his nose up at it and says, "How dare you tell me what I'm doing is wrong," or whatever. Arslan, on the other hand, actually listens to his advisors. He listens to all of his friends and what they think is right and what they think they should do. He takes other people's views into consideration, even reading the enemy text of the religious book to try to get a better understanding of what their religious mindset is, something his father would never do. Two things about the art and animation I thought was worth pointing out was that when they have sword fights, they actually have sword fights. There's none of this cheating like what they do in Bleach or whatever, where they got a bunch of lines going in the background to sort of make like the illusion of movement, or have them move their sword so fast you can't even see it or whatever. No, it's a legit sword fight. You can see every swing, every movement. It's actually a battle. The second thing is they know how to do like large scale epic war scenes, like whole kingdoms fighting each other. It is seriously an epic thing to behold. One of the side things I thought I should mention is that one character is possibly a trans character, but more specifically, a trans guy. I point this out because actual trans characters in any medium, even anime, is kind of rare. There is a lot of gender bending type shows like Ranma One Half or Kashimachi or something like that, but actual trans characters inside of a story in anime is kind of rare, particularly a trans guy. I won't say who it is for two reasons. One, it kind of is a big reveal later on in the story, and two, because the story is not technically completed yet, we're not sure if this character is actually trans or not. Like, they give a reveal of why the character dresses like a guy, but they never actually say if this is completely what he wants or if he's just doing it because of like reasons for his family or whatever. There's reason to believe that it is because of his family, but that mightn't be the entire reason, because at one point he does say that he is more comfortable being called a guy than a girl. Speaking of this story not being done yet, yeah, that's kind of the big point on this. Up to this point, I've seen season one and season two because that's all that's out so far, and it's kind of laid out weird too. The first season was 25 episodes, the second season was 8. So it has like 33 episodes of this weird odd number sort of thing. And I'm just like, there's a third season to this, right? Surely there must be a third season. My guess is there will be a third season eventually, because I hope they're not leaving something this cool on a cliffhanger of all things. Like, seriously, that would make me angry. Now, there is one thing about this show that might be a bit controversial. Yeah, there's a lot of things about this that sort of take shots at religion, particularly the religions that try to force their religion onto other people. But at the same time, they're not saying like there's not like against religion itself, because even the main character has help from like spiritual creatures like the jinn and whatnot. But at the same time, they're just sort of saying, hey, forcing your religion on other people, not cool, guys, not cool. No matter how good you think your God may be, it's not worth forcing on it on anyone. Let people make their own decisions. Now, usually when I judge a show, I will judge it either by the whole show together or broken down into the seasons if I happen to watch it season by season. This show, however, I'm going to go ahead and not give an actual rating for yet. I think that this particular show needs to be completed before I can give a fair judgment because there is just way too many things that are not answered yet and just way too many things I need to see before I can give it a fair judgment. All I can say so far is if they make another season of this, you definitely need to watch it because it is epic. And with all that said, I'm the Anime Viewer 66. Thank you, and good night.